being this like, little shitbag that just like stays inside all day and eats like, like fish that was like, that's been sitting in a can for 3 years or something like that. You're not eating fresh food.
Yeah,
You're
like
shitting in a box. Like, damn, I'd be
could be
pissed.
could be eating Indians right now. She's like doing like self-help videos and like Animal
Yeah.
Planet's constantly doing like big cats, so this cat just gets like this narcissistic complex.
Yeah, no, and this cat. Well, I just imagine like POV shots of this cat as it's watching this woman like like at her desk job doing her day to day, and it's just like
doing
it's just like seeing
nothing.
flashbacks. It's like imagining like hunting her. It's like imagining coming through the grass and just like seeing her. It's viewing her more and more as prey.
Or like you cut to her and it's like she's like foraging and like picking up roots and stuff and didn't like goes in for the kill and she's like oh hey kitty.
Yeah,
It's that, but like eventually he does like end up killing her and he frees himself from like the apartment, but then he's faced with the world and it's so cruel and unforgiving and he just immediately gets hit by a bus.
Okay.
Like some kid kicks him in the street, it's like bam, bus dead.
Oh man, you just killed. I had some idea there that I was still thinking about, and then the bus thing just like actually derailed it. Fuck.
You were the cat. You were in the cat's mind. You were on the street, and I just brought the bus, and it's like it's dead. I guess
I was literally in the cat's eye.
What was the license plate on that bus?
Did you ever see that movie, that Stephen King one? It's like
probably
actually
not.
It's a pretty lesser Stephen King movie, so you probably wouldn't. But it's like that's Stephen King. It's like an anthology.
Is it Rocky? Did Stephen King do any of the Rockies?
I don't know.
No, most of the Rockies were done by Rocky himself.
Rocky Raccoon?
No, the guy, Stallone. He wrote the shit out of Rocky. He wrote the shit out of the first Rocky, and the second Rocky, and the fourth Rocky, and the fifth Rocky, and the sixth Rocky.
Kind of like Rocky Raccoon, huh, kid?
It's gonna be a bunch of us doing Stallone impressions, isn't it? It's just gonna be an incomprehensible mess.
I really like the Rocky movies personally. I think they're great movies.
He comes across like a retard, though, right?
Did you like 5?
Like, yeah, like 5. Actually, it's fitting that this movie's called Rocky 5 because he acts and sounds like a 5-year-old.
And I guess that actually does apply to Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4 as well, because it doesn't change. But also, though, you're actually pulling a fucking Chris Rock making fun of alopecia without even knowing it, though, because Rocky Balboa has a brain injury at this point, so you're actually making fun of the differently abled. And how do you feel about that?
And Sylvester Stallone has like a weird fucked up jaw or something in real life, and that's why he talks like that.
Wait, no, is that facts? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, that's why he does. It's like his fucking lip is.
He's got like a cleft thing or something going on.
Oh, does he have a cleft lip?
Like
no.
Yeah, it's like all fixed, but it's like in his palate or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I was Googling cleft lip and cleft palate the other day just because, like, golly, that's some crazy shit. Do you know apparently like people think Joaquin Phoenix might have a cleft lip. That's why he has that scar over his nose, but no one's confirmed it. No one's ever had the fucking nutsack to ask him, "Hey, what's up with that?"
What happened to that, bud? What happened there?
No one's had like I saw an article saying Wendy Williams or whoever apologizes to the world because she like fucking made a reference that like may have like alluded to a question of whether or not it was a cleft lip. I don't know. I guess we're just not supposed like fucking. He's rich and famous, so like he can afford to fix it. Like his big brother, like, but when he was a fucking like shit in his pants diaper baby, his big brother was a fucking movie star in Indiana Jones 3. So I'm pretty sure that
maybe it just makes me think of like the meme where it's like, you know, the hand pushing down on all the people, and it's like, to know who rules over you, you know,
the people who rule over you are people with cleft lips.
Celebrities, like celebrity disabilities. Celebrity disabilities are literally.
I thought you were just saying the cleft-lipped in general. They are who truly run the world.
Well, I was thinking because like alopecia, also, like we're not supposed to say anything about that. Like some celebrity's gonna have scabies accidentally on their hands, and it's gonna be a hate crime if you fight a.
Hey, don't smoke in this nice fucking in Mr. Stallone's nice ski resort that was prominently displayed in Rocky 4.
Dude, if we're
the one
talking,
with the
if
sex
this is
robot.
Mr.
Where we are right now.
Stallone's nice ski resort located in Rocky 4, then it's 1985, and smoking is the coolest thing you can do.
Oh,
And there's
fine.
cocaine
Yeah, they
everywhere.
bring that-
That's not snow, Brant.
Yes.
Transition. They bring that up in 5. Remember when he's like talking to his kid and he's like lights up the cigarette after they're kicked out of luxury. He's like, it's a bad habit. And then just bringing it back to Rocky. Sorry.
Does the kid bring it?
watched all of it.
Wait. Does Rock Jr. smoke later in the movie? Does he start
Yeah.
smoking
Yeah.
it? Oh
He
my!
starts smoking.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Here, can I
He's
talk
got
about a
head
Rocky
case,
Six
too.
thing?
He's
Can I talk
looking
about
like
a
a
Rocky
little
6
girl.
thing?
Huh?
Can I talk
Yeah.
about a thing having to do with Rocky 6 that I'll probably never have another chance to talk about on this?
Sure. Go
I
for
guess.
it.
Okay, in Rocky 6, he's an old man, right? And Brant, did you ever get around to watching Rocky 1?
No, I watched from 5 to 1 backwards, and I will say right now he does get worse. Like 5, he's barely comprehensible, but like in 1 and 2,
Well, because he's punch
he's
drunk.
fine.
That's an intentional choice. Like, that's something that I wish this movie would have gone further on.
God. They should have fucking given him subtitles, and I didn't know what the fuck he was saying. He was
No,
kidding
yeah,
half the time.
It's
Yeah.
5 times worse than like the
It's
whole Dark Knight
so-
Rises thing.
Yeah, it's.
And he's Tommy. He's like, yeah, I'm tired. Well, yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
no
but see,
wonder
that's why
Tommy
you gotta
beat the
watch
shit out of
4
that one dude.
Rockies.
He didn't
That's
know
why
what
you
the
gotta
fuck he
watch
was
4
saying.
whole Rockies first, so you can figure out how he talks.
It was just like, it's like, oh, I got Tommy. Like, he's new to this. He puts him in the corner, and like all he hears like, ah, yeah, ah, yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't hear stop. I don't hear the bell. Yeah.
You gotta put
Yeah.
your arms
I'm
up.
getting
You're not
Rocky.
like, you just like taking it from your head, and you gotta take it in the body. You gotta like not just be like a. You gotta use the feelings in your head so you can attack him and not just let it go in you. Like it's
And
basically
Tommy's
that.
just staring past him, like, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever
yeah.
you said.
But the thing I wanted to say about Rocky 6 is not only do they just forget the whole punch drunk, he can't fight anymore, his fucking heart and brain will give out. Like fucking, they give up on all that, but like fucking in Rocky 6, he has like a romantic entanglement, and I'm not even sure it's romantic, but I think it is. He has a romantic, you did watch Rocky 1, right, Brant?
Yeah.
Do you remember that fucking like young like fucking like 11-year-old girl who's like hanging outside a bar and like swearing at him? And he's like, "Hey, you don't want to just be swearing at old guys." And then he just walks her home. And he's like, "You hang out with girls like that, you start getting pregnant, and then you don't want to like, and then you just like," and then he just gives her like all this advice. He's banging her in Rocky 6. That same girl, that 11-year-old girl.
That's
that he's like
the scene where it's like he's just going down the streets of Philly, just like being nice to people, right? He's just
and
like
then
doing
the young
good
girl like
deeds.
is like starting, and then he like tries to like mentor her, and then she's like, "Hey, screw you, creepo!" Like
Is it the
banging
same
her.
actress?
you.
He's banging her in Rocky 6, and I don't know. Like I get that they're both like she's like in her 40s, and he's like in his fucking late 50s. Like I don't know. Like it's still though, that's kind of weird to me, bro.
They
Like, she
they
was
forget
fucking
about
11
like
when you last talked to her.
they forget about is like he can't get punched in the head again. Shit in 5 too.
Yeah, they mentioned that. That's what I'm saying is like that's the main like fucking not necessarily failure, but a thing that like I wish they would have done more of in the Rocky movies is like especially in this one, like this movie Rocky 5 was actually supposed to end originally with Rocky fucking dying.
God, I wish.
Yeah.
That would
like,
be sick.
It would have, or at the very least, like he's running up those steps with his son, like, or like we think that he's running up the steps, but his son's just like carting him up on like the wheelchair route up the steps so that he can he can see the top.
Oh, that's a little that sounds very eerily similar to the end of Lawnmower Man too.
Yeah.
I knew how it was gonna end, but like I was hoping at that moment where like what fucking Rocky's having like the flashbacks to Mick at the end and like get up, I didn't hear no bell. I was hoping like he was dying and his kid would just come in with like a fucking metal bar or rebar badge, just beat fucking Tommy to death.
I thought that was gonna happen too. I thought the kid was gonna jump into the fight. I really did think that also.
No,
Like,
the
brass
kid
knuckles,
never
like,
jumps back
stab.
into it, which it kind of felt like the kid was either supposed to like try to save Rocky at the end or something. Like,
His
like,
kid
picks
doesn't
him
even
up,
show up
kinda.
in his dream like thing. It's like the kid like is
no,
pointless.
because the kid already had his payoff because like they had an emotional conversation about how he was going to be more present as a father.
He had like one good line in there. Where he was like, "Get him, get that bum. He took my fucking room." I was like, that's good.
Yeah, that was best.
That was it.
That's
That's
we got.
all his Yeah, that's all the contribution was to the fight from him. Fuck, we were just skipping around randomly. Should we fucking try and like?
Let's go to this. So the general plot,
off.
the general plot of Rocky 5 is so at the end of Rocky 4, he's got a bunch of money. He just beat Drago. He figures out he has brain cancer and or not brain cancer, but like his brain is just like if he gets punched
it's
more
mush.
time,
It's got like holes in it.
Yeah, like fucking permanent, like fucking shit. Like it's amazing he's not beating Adrian. Like that's how much of a moral character Rocky is. Because even when he's punch drunk, he's not punching Adrian or none of that stuff. He's a good man. But anyway, so like fucking, and at the same time as that happens, Paulie loses all of their money. He just
And no one gets that mad. No one gets that mad about Paulie.
No one.
Everyone's just like,
so
okay, Paulie. I guess like you just happen. It just happens. And,
but
like,
I mean, like if you look at all the Rocky movies, though, like no matter what Paulie does, like Rocky's just gonna be like, oh god damn it, Paulie. You know, that's all it's gonna be. Like he really doesn't like because I watched him in a fucking marathon. And when that moment happened, I knew Rocky wasn't going to be mad at him. I knew Rocky wasn't going to give a shit because he never does. He fucking lets Paulie get away with fucking murder. In Rocky 3, they go to the fucking, for some reason, he brings Paulie to go get trained with Apollo Creed's boys, and they just all these black guys. And fucking every single thing fucking Paulie says, like, what's with all these jungle bunnies in here? You bringing kids in here, Rock?
Yeah.
He's like shitting on their music. He's like, he can't shuck and jive to this porch music. It's like, Jesus Christ, Paulie is surrounded by super jacked black dudes.
Yes. No, Paulie is like the dumbest. Like he's dumber than Rocky.
Shit. Paulie is just a piece of shit in every movie.
He's maliciously stupid.
Yeah.
He is maliciously stupid. Like
literally, he basically did everything he had to do as a character in the first Rocky because he was fucking Adrian's sister. That's it. He just had to fucking introduce Rocky to Adrian, but they already knew each other.
Yeah.
This is Adrian. He's like, I do that. But thank you, Paulie. From now on, you will be at my side forever.
The conflict of this movie kind of like hollow, though, in my opinion. Like, I don't know. It's like it's entertaining enough, but like the whole movie, the catalyst is Paulie lost all of their money, and now he has to like do a fight so that they could like get out of the ghetto because they're like living in or like the slums or whatever.
Yeah, but he can't do the fight. But he can't do the fight because he figures out his brain's fucked up. So they move back. So they move back to and this movie, Rocky 5, was the first movie that had the same writer and director as Rocky 1, because this is the only other movie that I don't remember the dude's name, but he directed the first Rocky. So you'd think like, okay, this is bringing the Dream Team back. Fucking Stallone wrote it, and fucking that dude is directing it. They're fucking going back to all the original locations. They're hanging out in that same area. Rocky's got his hat again, all the same stuff. But and I mean, like, some of that stuff plays pretty well. Like, it feels fun having Rocky feel like the neighborhood guy. Like, I feel like that's some of the best stuff in Rocky movies.
Yeah.
Is when he's just wandering around through the town. And people are like, hey, Rock, you'll get him next time. And he's just like,
Rocky.
Everybody loves Rocky.
Yeah, and they bring in...
Which I love that. I love that.
They bring in, like, some of his street fighting stuff at the end. Like, they play that in kind of well, I thought. Like, I don't know.
Because
they have Rocky in the city a lot in this movie.
Okay, wait. Yeah, you brought it up, Cats. Like, the street fighting shit. If you guys remember when he's fighting Tommy, and he just starts, like, doing some breakdancing moves. Like, he's sweeping the legs and, like, tossing...
Yeah.
That was good shit. Honestly.
How out of the blue, it took me for a surprise when he like fucking judo chopped him suddenly.
You know,
like-
every single Rocky movie that I ain't even liking, like, even in this one, like, when it gets to the fight, it kind of gets me back. It kind of makes me like it again, because the fight's cool.
That was cool, yeah.
Yeah.
The fight's fucking intense.
liking
And that
it.
part where Rocky was supposed to die, and he comes up, he's like, I ain't hearing no bell. That's fucking, like, one of the most fucking iconic Rocky moments. You really can't knock him for that.
Yeah,
And then
it's
he just
just
continues to get
everything,
his shit in.
like, the like, reason for the story existing, like all the plot, everything like that is just like so like just nothing. It's just it's just a vehicle to get to like Rocky street fighting some young punk at the end.
It
basically.
really should have been something more like they didn't even need to lose everything. It could have just been like
Yeah.
they take like a big, because like they said, like in the office, like you haven't been paying your mortgages, you haven't been fucking doing this, and it's like just do that, cut him down a little bit, and it's like Rocky's like, I gotta get back to the streets, I gotta get back to the people. That's when he meets Tommy, and then you could have had Tommy like fuck him over for money with who was the promoter, who was the squeeze bag with the coat.
Yeah, that
Washington?
fucking
Yeah, thank you.
No,
Yeah.
wait. George Washington Duke.
George Washington Duke. And it would have played pretty much the exact same, honestly, except for like a couple scenes, which were they need to be poor for the kid, which was a poor choice.
I guess. I don't know. Well, like the kid all right, so you got to think about that, and that's something you really got to think with just in general. Like, because like Rocky, like his son is played by Stallone's son. So like it just, you can just kind of feel that it was just like a whole thing, like the whole big character thing with Stallone with Rocky's son was because Stallone wanted his son to have a big thing, you know. It was just like, so at least on that angle, it's better than the people on Twitter really need us to put in fucking Southeastern Asian, or else they're planning on burning down a Chick-fil-A. You know, at least it was a better motivation than that. You know,
he was also like, also his son wasn't terrible. He wasn't a Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, no, they're
like
a lot worse. My child is in the movie actors.
Yeah, but like
it was weird seeing him fight, because that's like when he felt the most natural too. Was like seeing him train. I was like, oh, that's weird.
When he beats up that bully.
Yeah, or like when you're seeing him like
when Paulie's training him, when he's training Tommy, when Rocky's training Tommy.
Yeah, the first montage that happens, and you see like his little kid's like hitting the speed bags, and he's doing all the shit Tommy's doing. It cuts to him occasionally. He looks really like natural, and then he kicks the bully's ass, so he looks good doing it. It's like a really good fight sequence for kids.
He gets a little lady friend out of it. But then he starts wearing an earring, and Rocky's like, "Hey, you look like a little faggot, you know? Like, you gotta stop being such a fucking rug sniffer, huh?"
Well, okay, that is the stupidest fucking earring. Like
it is, yeah, no, that is like that is an earring that you can tell that
begging
Stallone
people.
wrote in there, because he's like, my kid would never wear a fucking earring. So like this will be like the scene where I'm like, hey, why are you being such a fucking, you know, wearing an earring? But like, so that's all right. So that's something that really I think is like weird about this movie is like fucking kind of like the hard like motivations of people ping pong really hard. And a great example of it is like Rocky is like dedicated to being the best father he can be when they go down there. He's like, oh man, I really hope my son can just like fit in there, and like he's not tough like these other kids. He's gotta get tough, and, you know, like, and he's really focused on that. But then just like as soon as he fucking starts talking to Tommy, who he's supposed to be training, he just fucking entirely stops talking to his son. And just like that, I don't know, just like...
fucking Tommy feels so awkward too. It's like you can... Even like the character feels like, oh, he knows he's like stepping in like father-son time, and he feels awkward, but Rocky's so fucking oblivious and punch drunk. He's, time about training.
Right, sure, yeah, and I mean you can use the punch drunk as an excuse, but then see that's like the biggest issue I have with this movie is like it sets up Rocky being punch drunk in like the fucking first couple scenes you see him in, and like he's fucking like he's like really fucked up, and he's like not like he's like acting weird, and even like his kid says, hey, why is dad acting so weird? At the very beginning, and then the next scene like he's being okay, and then the scene and like every scene where he has to make a major decision, he never makes a decision out of like he never makes an illogical decision, except for at the end when he decides to fight Tommy. Like it's the only illogical decision he makes in the entire movie, and that's not portrayed in any way as just him being punch drunk. They don't lean into the punch drunk.
Yeah,
just repeating the same thing you said, but backwards. What were we gonna say, Katz?
Mostly just like I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say. Honestly,
God
Dwayne
damn it.
I was listening to Dwayne's point, but I don't know. Just the progression
is that fucking
of like
Gandalf
their
pipe or some shit? Is that a new choice?
What?
Are we just doing like open shirts and fucking blonde ass long fucking middle cut pirate hair and fucking goddamn ass sailor pipes cats? Is that what you're choosing? Is that the choice nowadays?
the pin.
That's a pin?
It's a pen.
The pin.
Oh, okay. You're holding. See, like you're just so small on my screen. It looks like
Fucking
the way you were holding it made it look like it was like
Can
a
I say
Gandalf
my
type
very
pipe.
important Rocky 5 point? Can I get to my
I
like? It's not even an
guess.
Yeah,
important
can you
point.
articulate it?
Just the progression of like his son getting like this main drama. We're supposed to like care about this drama of like his son not like feeling loved by Rocky, blah blah blah. But like that flips on a dime, honestly, too. Like his son is being like, "Oh, why is Dad acting weird?" And then like he kind of just doesn't. There's the one moment where he gets his jacket back, and then he gets ignored basically, and then it's just like, "Fuck this," and then and I don't know. It manufactures the conflict at
Yeah,
every
I mean,
single
that
point.
kind of
Yeah,
worked for
I
me
get what
just
you're
because like it
saying.
would make sense that like a kid idolizes his dad. If his dad ignores him long enough, like he won't fucking give a shit. And then like he won't actually give a shit until he like fucking has like, hey dad, I did
Oh,
the
it's-
thing. And then also Rocky, man, like I don't know, like fucking I feel like he would have paid more attention to that, but I don't know.
I get what you're saying, Cats. Everything feels like it's only brought up when it needs to be. It's like
Yeah.
it's also coincidental. It's like, oh, his kid's so excited that like he's gonna like run to the gym and show his dad, or like when he's like his mom's like, go show your dad what you did. It's like, man, if his mom didn't say that, like he just would have had his time with Tom. He would have come back up and be like, hey kid, I
Right.
saw what you did.
And on
down there.
that
Was sick."
subject,
It's just
on-
like
yeah. On
Yeah, it
that
just feels
subject,
like, man.
Adrian had fucking nothing to do in this movie.
she was making hella spaghetti for fucking
Yeah.
She did,
She was
yeah,
making
which is
spaghetti and
almost
she
like
was
it's
getting
funny
really
because like
upset.
in the next movie she's dead and she started a restaurant in between the two movies. So it's kind of funny like they just she said just enough. Like she just like she just like does nothing but make spaghetti in this movie. So like that gives us just enough to give her something
eat Polly.
in the next
Eat
Yeah.
more
movie.
spaghetti.
Give us
Tell
some
me how
reason
good it
Rocky
is.
has money in the future.
Yeah. Well, she's there to not like George Washington Duke. That's basically her entire role. Is I don't like
Yeah,
this
and
guy
kind of
that's
like
trying to eat
honestly,
Rocky
like
the ring.
He doesn't need
she was
that,
making
though.
like the right
He's-
decision, but like fucking yeah, she really like I don't know, she never even like asked Rocky like, hey, what do you think?
Yeah, she's just like, don't trust him. But it's like I don't think he needed anyone to make him an unlikable character. We didn't need that told to us. He's obviously a shithead.
Yeah, no, that guy, the actor, whoever they got as the actor, like hams it up perfectly. Like he's
Yeah,
just
no,
such
he's
a
basically
fucking
exactly
nerd.
Don King.
Yeah.
At the end, where he's like, hit me and I'll sue. Hit me and I'll sue.
Well,
Yeah,
I
and
love
then
the
wait,
reaction
and let's
shots.
talk about that since you mention it. He's like, hit me and I'll sue, hit me and I'll sue, and Rocky just punches him. That's how he solves the problem. That's how he
Fucking
solves
picks
that
him
problem.
up off
Literally,
the
the final
ground.
confrontation that's supposed to ever be in the Rocky saga is like, hey, you just solved your problem with punching your fist, and now you have a problem you need to solve without using your fists. And the way that he solves it
He uses
is
his
by using his fists.
Basically,
Picks him up.
and he says, "What are you gonna sue me for? I'm poor."
Yeah, and
sue
then
me
like,
for
and that doesn't
nothing.
come back. That doesn't come back. Also,
Yeah.
fucking like Tommy during that big street fight, he like assaulted like 12 pedestrians. Like,
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah, like a
sick.
bunch of
Yeah,
No,
because
he
like
Will
people were
Smith
like,
the fuck out of everybody.
fucking
there.
heavyweight champion in the world is just casually fucking knocking random Philly residents in the chin.
on
Hey,
TV.
He doesn't have his promoter anymore. That George Washington Duke said that if he lost, he was not going to be sponsoring him. So
Oh, before that, because it was like he
This is before he
challenges,
lost.
he punches Paulie, and then Rocky's like, all right, let's take this outside. He steps outside, literally like touches pavement, and Rocky just beats his shit in.
yeah,
Turns around, everyone's like, good job, and then he gets fucking sucker punched, and
Twice.
everyone's like, hey, yeah, he gets the shit kicked out of him.
twice
Yeah,
he
they
gets sucker punched
He
though.
keeps walking away. It just-
Yeah.
but like that
I honestly
time,
thought
though,
that
it's
was going
like
to happen a third time.
then they like,
No,
yeah,
and then
I
it
was
just
hoping
kind of
for
became
it.
the way the fight was going. Like that was just how they moved it. That was just the in between rounds, basically. Was
Yeah,
just
and
when
then
somebody would think they won and then walk away.
It was like it was gonna turn into this endless like just cycle. Of, like,
Cycle.
Rocky beats the shit out of Tommy
Until
Gunn.
somebody died. I honestly like maybe
That
this movie
turns
should have just
it
if
back.
Rocky's not gonna die in the street, maybe Rocky should have just beaten him to death and just gone to prison for his fucking
How
for
funny
his
would that
fucking
have been if like
pride.
like this the real transition we see is that between each round like the ring of people just gets smaller because people just keep trying to like pull Tommy off and he knocks their shit out as they go down the street.
There's
So
just
there's
a
just like
pile. There's just
there's just a
ring.
trail of bodies leading from each location. No,
Yeah, no,
Tom is like the last.
Yeah,
Just pushing
I
it.
especially liked George Washington Duke's reactions as Tommy's getting his shit beat, and he like they just cut back to him and he goes, "No,
Yeah.
no!" Like just the most over
Awesome.
the top. It's great.
The whole time. Great. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I loved that guy. That guy was great. But like,
It's such a bummer you have to sloth through like all the movie to get to the best part, the ending.
yeah, that's the best. Yeah, everything else in the movie is pretty lame, or not.
Do you remember
it's
that?
Fine. What?
Do you remember that scene in the middle where well, it was where Rocky meets Tommy. And so Tommy's just like standing on the street corner in front of Mickey's gym, which is what Rocky owns now, and it's where he's working. And Tommy's standing there, he's like, "Hey, I'm from Oklahoma. I really want to learn how to fight." And then Rocky gets distracted by the promoter coming, and then he talks to the promoter for a while, and then Adrian shows up, and then he like walks like up and down the street like it's like a 7.5 minute scene, and that whole time Tommy is standing there like 4 inches from it, just listening to all of it, not thinking anything's weird. No one even says like, "Hey, why are you standing here?" No one says that. Angry Adrian doesn't say that.
They have to like get him to like get up off the car.
That's not a bench there, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. And he still stands there, and he still keeps fucking standing there. And then after all that, after fucking Adrian leaves in a huff, and Rocky and her are screaming at each other, and all this domestic shit, fucking Tommy is still standing there. He's like, "Okay, hey, so you want to train me?" And then Rocky is like, "Oh, I kind of got some stuff on my head, man." Man, that's when you punch a pedestrian. That is when you have a Will Smith moment, right? Like that's the shit. Like how do you not get? It's also Rocky, and he's just like too courteous.
He likes everybody. He says it at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
he likes.
I give everyone a chance. I like everyone a chance.
Yeah,
but because Tommy's like, "Well, will you train him?" He's like, "Jesus Christ, kid! Listen, show up tomorrow. I'll see what you got. I
feel like it would genuinely still work for the movie though if Rocky in that moment said, "Will you fuck off, kid? I got stuff on my mind." And then later he feels guilty, and that's why he starts to train him. I really think it wouldn't have hurt because it would have made more sense. Like even if you're going to and I respect that. I love it when you make a character just uncompromising and kind at all times. But Jesus Christ, this fucking retard was standing here the entire time. Fucking my wife is screaming about how I have fucking mental issues in front of a fucking guy who's trying to give me $1 million to get me out of this hellhole, and then I go and scream at her in the middle of the fucking street with my child. Right, literally, how do you not say fuck off to that guy?
It's also just a weird scene. It like the fact that it culminates basically in him just going like, "I got a lot of things on my head. Bye." Like
that could have all been taken after. It could have been like Tommy comes into the gym, gets the chance, walks outside, they're palling around, and then all that happens. And then it could have been like, and then like the more Rocky thing even been like, "Get out of here," would have been like in that scenario, would be like, "You hungry?" And then they would have had the spaghetti dinner.
Yeah, no, that works. That fucking works. That
would have
fucking
been a much
works.
more smooth.
Instead of instead like that guy shows up and it's like you think he almost comes across as like some guy that they just couldn't get off the set. You know?
Yeah, no, it looks like that fucking PA. It looks like that fucking PA.
Like, okay, I guess this guy's in the fucking scene.
Yeah, no, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if there was people working on that movie who are like, "Dude, you're in his eye line. You're in Stallone's eye line. Move.
I like you. Hey, come here. Take your shit.
Okay, we got to add in a line of dialogue.
You're so cut. Look at you. You're ripped. You want to be in the movie, kid? I want to be. I want
Yeah,
you to
no,
train.
exactly.
I
And
want
then
to train
Stallone's like, I think the movie's right here, guys. Like, we were gonna
Yeah,
do that whole other movie about me fighting the black guy, but I did that before.
The PA's got like his shirt picked up. He's like, I think the movie's right here, guys. Get a good close up of this.
Guys, check this out.
Look,
Movie's
this
right
guy.
here,
That's
guys.
what I
He
do right
just
there.
takes it. They're
This
just
fucking-
flexing. That's a movie right here.
And like, I mean, as long
I
as
can see
honestly, like that fucking the ending thing, and like the only other like really big thing I want to talk about, as long as we're moving backwards through the movie, the very beginning of the movie, it opens up with the only nudity in the Rocky series that I don't think there's any other nudity. There isn't even a tit anywhere in the Rocky series. Except for the opening of this movie where it just shows a fucking glistening, just spread out Italian stallion era Sylvester Stallone ass fucking in the shower, just stretching out. But he's like having a heart attack. He's having a heart attack at the time, but it's shot like it's fucking Dirty Dancing. It's just impressive. Like, I just wanted to point out that that's in there.
I missed that part. I
Yeah,
guess,
no, that's the first shot
what?
of the movie. Feel free to look it up and look at it as we're going to remind yourself. But like, and then like after that, and then like and then there's some really good acting after that. Actually, it's the most freaked out Stallone is in any of these movies when he says something like, you know, like when they said like something inside might break or whatever. Like that's just some good shit. That was a good scene. That was a good fucking scene. Yeah, and then right after that, they fly back. They fly back to America.
Because he's sitting there and he's fucking. His hands are shaking. He's like, I can't get him to stop shaking. The cold, Adrian. The cold. I can't feel them. Yeah, that scene. It's like the second before that. He's just like in the shower, just bare ass. He's like,
just bare ass, fucking lovely lighting, beautiful moonlit lighting.
Literally bleeding so much.
It's literally like that is the ass looks so shapely. Like it doesn't look like it was directed to say, hey, he's having a fucking heart attack right now. It looks like it was directed to say, damn that ass. Like it literally looks like
is he having a heart attack?
Well, no, but he's like how he's hyperventilating, like he's like having a fucking like he's having a thing.
I couldn't tell. I was looking at his ass, I think. Maybe
exactly. And then right after that, like that's when he meets fucking George Washington Duke because like you cut to he goes back to America, he gets off the plane. If you watch Rocky 4 and Rocky 5 back to back, that's really fun because at the end of Rocky 4, his child is like fucking 7. And then at fucking the start of this one, literally 2 days later in the canon of Rocky, his son is like fucking 14 and just runs out of the crowd and he's just like fucking dressed all differently and acting. That's fun. And then then they have the press conference where Rocky's like, hey, I literally just did the most impressive sports feat in the history of the world. And then fucking Duke, George Washington Duke or whatever, walks up onto the stage is like, I demand a fight right now. And then the media's like, well, you gotta respond right now to this random piece of shit that walked into your fucking press conference, absolute hero who just fucking solved the Cold War. You gotta respond.
No, that's like they completely like dropped the whole Cold War thing immediately.
They do, no one even says thanks for sticking it up for America, Rock. No one's got a fucking American flag in the crowd.
No one.
They don't do that until like the end, where they're all like making fun of Tommy and going like, he wasn't a real champion. You got to beat Rocky if you want to be a real champion.
Yeah,
he was just for show. You're not a real champ. Fuck you. You suck, actually. You're a piece of shit. And everyone just starts hating him suddenly.
Yeah.
That's the only time, like, they actually, like, go against Duke.
Well, Rocky is simultaneously loved and cherished by fans and, like, has just, like, you know, just, like, tons of love for him. But then he's also just got, like, no one gives a shit that he, like, defeated the Russians, basically, or that, like, he's destitute and bankrupt.
He made fucking Gorbachev stand up and clap about how we all can change. Literally, can you imagine if that shit happened right now? And, like, fucking Putin just like stood up and cried and said, America was right all along. We got to be friends. He fucking won the Cold War by punching a giant Russian.
Yeah. No, they just don't care. They don't care.
No, they just move on. Well, they just fucking move the fuck on.
It's the real sight of like of being like a hardcore fan of a boxer or an MMA fighter. Like, you love them and you like to see them succeed, but you're gonna watch them get the shit kicked out of them, and that's gonna be fun too. So you're kind of like half and half on it.
Yeah,
That's how everyone is with Rocky. It's like, we love to see you win, Rocky, but Jesus Christ, you get the shit kicked out of you each time, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
there's
and also,
an
like, you
element
can
of
be on the
Rocky, it
media
seems
side
like
on that one, at least. The
puts
media
himself
are
out
fucking
there,
absolute
and
scumbags.
nobody really cares about him except for Adrian. Like, Adrian
No,
tries
dude.
to get Rocky to like take care of himself, and everybody else is just like gunning for Rocky to get brain damage.
Which that
Every
that's a
fight
good
he's
point.
in, too.
That's a good point that they never really explore in the movie.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of they set up like a few point like things that you
That's
think they're
actually
gonna
weird.
focus on more in the movie, and they just drop them.
Every single time, anytime you think, because like, why wasn't the robot in 5? Why wasn't Polly's sex robot in 5?
He said it. He said it,
I want to
folks.
see
He
the
said
sex
it. Go
robot.
off.
Yeah, I haven't
Okay,
seen.
you
Rocky
have to
You
watch
haven't
it.
seen Rocky 4,
It's
Cats, but in
pretty
Rocky
cool,
4,
actually.
a sex
It's-
robot that Rocky buys for Paulie on his birthday
No,
is a
no,
very
no,
heavy.
He buys it
very
for his
heavy-
son. No.
He
Oh,
buys it for his son.
wait, what are you? No, you're wrong. You are wrong.
No,
He bought it for
no.
Paulie.
I
He
just
bought it
watched.
for
I just
Paulie.
watched. I just watched it. He
I
buys
just watched
it for his
too.
son.
He bought it for Paulie.
No, he buys it for his son because his son's like playing music and it's like happy birthday.
No.
and stuff,
When
but
he's
it's for his-
partying with his son later, it was still Paulie's birthday. You remember? Because Paulie blew out the candles and he said to the kid, "Hey, blow out the candles with me." It was Paulie's birthday. He bought Paulie the
Yeah,
robot.
but-
It was Paulie's sex robot.
No, it was for
I'm
the
positive.
kid though. I
I'm
thought
certain.
the kid had
I'm
it
certain.
before.
I'm positive.
Because it's like all
Cats,
it's
can
all
you
kid
Google
friendly,
who
and
sex
then, like,
robot
later,
it is?
And then later,
You
it's like
guys
being
saw
all
the movie.
sexy, like,
I
here
shouldn't
you
have
go,
to fucking
honey.
Google
I'd
this.
Google it, but
It's
I
like-
can't. I'm OBSing. So
I think
yeah.
I think it's more
Is
fun
that
to
his
just like
birthday?
who has the more persuasive argument about
I
what
thought
happened.
it was the kid's
honestly.
birthday because like there
It wasn't
were
the kid's
streamers
birthday.
and like and balloons and shit. So I was like, oh, this is definitely for the. I guess I was mistaken.
You think
then,
Paulie wouldn't have
uh,
balloons on his birthday?
Because he was shit faced drunk wearing a fucking stained wife beater like he is in every fucking movie.
Yeah, sounds
So
like
I was like,
Paulie's
this isn't
birthday,
for him,
bro. Like
right?
it just he's just Paul, and he had a party he had, and he was
Paulie.
angry the whole time. That's Paulie's birthday, man. That's how he would.
But
accept
also
his birthday.
because it's also because the robot starts out like PG is why I thought that too. Like the kid's like hanging out with it and like playing with it, and then later it's
well,
like
that was just
being all
that was just
sexy.
before Uncle Paulie found the dick slot.
Yeah.
Okay,
he
so
puts,
that's
like,
what
a
I was
thong
asking.
on
Like,
it.
what's the functionality look like? Like,
Well,
is
it's
there just like a wet hole?
there's actually nothing in the Rocky canon that says it's a fuck robot. It just like
It's
the
just-
robot starts like doting on him and bringing him beer, and he's just like, "I love this fucking thing," and
He's
it's
like
just-
buying lingerie for it and plays like sexy music, but
Oh no.
it's implied, but it doesn't look like
It's
a human.
implied,
It looks
but
like
it literally could just be a visual joke. There's nothing that directly says he fucks the robot.
it looks like a shitty plasticky 90s giant robot toy. It's got like an almost like a insectoid head and this weird bulky frame with no arms. It's just got like a panel with like a single arm that can grip, and it's just on big fucking treads. It's this ugly fucking thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's being
it
sexy
looks kind of
to
it's
him.
like a Dalek. It's like it
it's,
looks like
it's a
Rosie.
Crushinator
Do
from
you remember?
Futurama.
Do you know Rosie the robot from the Jetsons?
Yeah, that's actually pretty.
It
cool,
looks
Yeah.
actually.
exactly like that with less feminine features.
With like bigger, like fucked up, like insect. It's because like the eyes are like all fucking like way back and like crimson.
That's not what
too.
I would
It's
want in my house. Like that head looks like a reptilian.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
want
know how the
Polly
kid
in my
was
house.
scared shitless.
Yeah.
But fucking Rocky's okay with it.
Yeah.
That's true. I give everything a chance, even this monster that's trying to kill my family. I'll give it a chance. Come in, bud.
And then
So-
fucking
Don't
like
touch my
Rocky
kid.
6, apparently the only reason fucking Polly lived with him, I guess like Adrian really loved him. Like that's something that Rocky says in Rocky 6 is like fucking like I loved you, Polly, but like Adrian really loved you. And like fucking Polly's just sitting there by Adrian Graves like it's fucking cold, Rock. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. No, honestly though, I have to give it like having a character that sticks through the series of like 5 films or like 6, the 6th one also. That's just like a total waste of space.
He is
Like,
an excellent foil to Rocky, too, though. He is an excellent foil that's never explored, but, like, he could be a great exploration of, like, hey, you bring in, like, dipshits from your fucking childhood or whatever, they'll ruin all your money or whatever, which that's kind of explored by him ruining his money, but it's not fucking really gone into. Like, he's a fun foil to Rocky because he's always the asshole and Rocky's always the nice guy, but
I feel like you
Paulie's
can kind of
almost like any scene that's just like mostly Paulie focused is when you want to go take a piss, you know?
Well, you can kind of tell that these are Sylvester Stallone is the brainchild of these movies because there's like interesting ideas, but like it's how I would imagine Sylvester Stallone just like approaching them, where he's like, and then there's we want to put this there, and then we want this, and then blah, 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 blah. You know, and it's like nothing feels like it was fully realized or like
and
fully like.
Some of them though are genuinely good, and the best Rocky movies were written and directed by Sylvester Stallone.
I got
which ones did he direct?
Rocky
I think you guys are
2,
gonna like this.
Rocky 4, and Rocky Balboa.
Okay.
Which Rocky 4 isn't necessarily the best, and it's actually in a lot of ways it's the worst. But it's really
consider
fun.
that Rocky 1 was kind of based after Sylvester Stallone saw Raging Bull and it really inspired him. Consider Paulie then as just being Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
To the Robert De Niro, and Sylvester just couldn't like write another script after that without that dynamic because he couldn't understand a boxer in like a movie sense without just having some weird guy with him.
He needs
a
short little
without
Italian
having the
man.
dipshit whose sister.
And that's why
fun.
Paulie's there. Paulie's just the Joe Pesci to the Robert De Niro that is Sylvester Stallone's Rocky Balboa.
That's not a bad point, actually, because then Sylvester Stallone's just like, what? I wrote him into the first movie, so he's got to be in all of them.
And I mean, he is fun. That guy's a good actor. He's just like, he's never given anything to do that like a human would do other than just be a piece of shit. Just go in and just be a piece of shit.
Just
Sin incarnate. It's awesome.
Up. Like
he's just coasting through life. He's part of the entourage. He's just a fucking barnacle.
Brant, so you thought Rocky 3 was the worst one?
Yeah, I liked Rocky. I thought Rocky 2 was boring, honestly.
Rocky 2 is probably my favorite because there's like so much going off of Rocky 1, like it's just so emotional. Him and Adrian have so many really good scenes that are just like
all I remember is it's just the same movie. It's like he already fought this guy.
Yeah, he did. And that's like it has Rocky 2 probably has the worst payoff of any Rocky movie, except for maybe Rocky 5.
Again.
Yeah, I don't know. I it was a while ago when I saw that, but I just remember like just saying like, oh, this is kind of like it's just the same movie. And then you get to Rocky 3, and it's like you got Mr. T.
But Mr. T is like, and honestly, like I just wish that like Rocky needed to start doing like some Happy Gilmore level shit by way of punching people near the end, like because I'd seen him do like the first movie Rocky's a southpaw and he's just like a bruiser. The second movie they entirely make it so like Rocky has to learn how to fight right-handed, so he becomes a different kind of boxer. The third movie he moves way faster, so he like does learn something new every movie if you watch him back to back, and like especially if you know anything about like fucking that sport or whatever, I would assume. Like you can see.
Why are you talking about it like that?
Yeah, I don't know, but like I did look at it. I was watching Rocky 3, and they were putting so much emphasis on how fast he was, and I was also, as I was watching these movies, I was like keeping track of how much he allegedly weighed in each movie, and I noticed his like weight went down in that movie. So I was like, okay, like how much is he actually moving different? But he like Stallone literally learns different tricks in every movie. Like he's actually teaching himself different kinds of fighting every single movie. Or at least in the first 4. First 3.
Three, plus, like, 3 just kind of sucks. It's just dumb. It's cool.
I don't know, dude. Does 3 suck? Like, because that's the one where Mickey dies.
Which, that's the most ridiculous death. It's just like, it's so weird. There. He just gets pushed to the ground by Mr. T in front of a crowd of people, and nothing happens. Like nobody
He has
gives
a
a
heart
fuck that
attack.
this guy was just murdered.
Yeah, no,
basically.
nobody.
He has a heart
That's
attack for, like-
that is, and that's something that's
No.
very well extended into Rocky 5 is fucking
Yeah.
fighters just assaulting people in public and murdering them, and no one cares.
No one
He has
cares.
a heart attack.
But yeah,
for,
no,
like,
it's I
30
love how the
minutes.
media works in Rocky. I wish that was how it was settled. Is like fucking like, oh, this guy got murdered in the in the streets. Well, Rocky's gonna deal with it in the ring.
But-
No
Yeah,
charges.
Mick doesn't
No
die
charges. Rocky's
instantly.
gonna deal with it in the ring.
Mick,
Yeah, but-
Mick doesn't die instantly. He's there. He's dying for like 30 minutes
Yeah,
having
he
a heart
died.
attack.
He's dying throughout the
Rocky
whole fight,
goes
which
out,
honestly, Brant,
gets
fuck
the
you.
whole
That is a great
introduction.
thing. I love that he's dying throughout the whole fight, so Rocky has no spirit, and then he comes back in there and he dies in Rocky's arms. That's a great
There's
scene.
no
Fuck you.
medics?
Fuck you.
No one called one? It's a fight. There's not a single medic there. He's just dying alone in the locker room for 20 minutes.
Allegedly, well, no, didn't they have doctors? No, they were doing like operation type shit on. They were like trying to like fucking do
No,
like
he was just
CPR on. him
alone
and
with
shit.
Adrian on the bench. He was just
Mm.
laying there going,
Really?
You
the
might
whole
be right, but
time.
I
That
feel
doesn't
like
make any
I feel
sense.
like there was more going on, but you might be right.
No, there wasn't. I just watched it. I had to go back. I'm like, are they just letting him die? And it's like, yeah, they are. They're just.
I'll give you this
Oh.
one. You're wrong. You're wrong about whose birthday it was that gave the sex robot, but I'll give you this one.
That's fine. I don't care. Rocky 3 is just kind of dumb. Mr. T's cool, and I get it. It's like
It's
Rocky's
the movie that The Eye of the
champion.
Tiger was written for. I pity the fool, man. It had like two enduring
Sure.
classics of human culture.
What's better
just
about
in it.
Rocky 2, Brant? Why is Rocky 2 the better film?
I'm not saying Rocky 2's better. What the fuck? I'm saying Rocky 3's the worst. Not that
But
Rocky
if you're
2's
saying Rocky
better.
3 is the worst, then
If
you
the
are
worst, then
inherently
Rocky
saying
2
Rocky 2
than
is
Rocky
better.
3, no?
No, I think Rocky 5's the best.
And that's not what I'm
I think
asking.
Rocky
I'm saying, why is Rocky 2 better than Rocky 3?
Oh, I mean, it's not really. It is just like the same thing again.
Yeah. I don't
Not
know.
really,
but I
though,
watched it
because, like,
backwards.
It's different
This
at
is the
that
thing,
point
remember?
because
So
like
I
Rock
watched
has
it
more
5,
respect.
4. I watched it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it was actually kind of new to me, so I didn't mind. It was more when I saw the first one again. I was like, oh, I already watched this, and also it was like, is Apollo?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, it is Apollo.
Okay. So, well, I feel like watching
So I
it
didn't
the way that
mind.
you did would kind of like, yeah, make 2 seem better. When, like, if you're watching them, like, I don't know. When I watched the first 3, it was like the second one I wanted to just skip after like a
Yeah,
certain
it's like-
point.
It's like, okay, the first one you guys skimmed like a lot of character development on these guys, except for like your main ones, Rocky and Adrian, because
The
we're with
first
them the
one
whole
is
time.
honestly the first one.
But
is
all these
honestly
other
pretty
ones
boring.
are just very like surface levels. And 2, it's like, okay, we're gonna like look at these people deeper in between
Yeah.
the fights, and we just don't. And it's like, oh, so why the fuck are we here to see another fight? And then 3 happens, and it's just like, that's Mr. T. I see where you're coming from.
3's the cartoon. Like 3 takes it like to a more cartoonish level, and that's
Just-
probably why it's more
but
memorable.
But it
No,
still grounds
4.
it. Rocky 4 is when it becomes a cartoon.
That's what's
That
cartoonish.
one looks
That's
cartoonish.
what's silly.
Rocky 4 is
Three's
fucking-
just, like,
dude, there
realistic.
are 4 montages in the span of like 30 minutes in Rocky 4. It's great. It's
Yeah.
great. And they're all
I was
to
gonna
like
make a
some
point of it.
really forgotten 80s songs.
With 5, I was gonna
The
be
second
like,
one
it's
is the best one
crazy
because
that
there's
there
no
was,
lyrics.
2 of them.
The second one is the
Like
best
2
one because there's no
back-to-back
lyrics.
2 back-to-back montages. That's crazy. Rocky 5, and then Rocky 4 shows up. It's like, this has literally been 30 minutes of just montages. What the
mean
fuck's
Rocky
happening?
4? See, it's so strange, Brant, that you watch these movies in reverse and you end up thinking that Rocky 5 is the best one.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just dumb. It's campy. It's my
Do you
kind of
think Rocky
thing.
5 is the best one?
Yeah, just because it's stupid, and I just
Okay,
enjoy,
well, which
like,
one do you
watching
think
it
is
just
the
fighting.
best film? Which one do you think is the best film?
5. That's what I just said.
Well, yeah, I'm not like so. Literally, you don't think that. So by saying that Rocky 5 is the best one because it's the stupidest, you're saying that the inherent best merit of the Rocky movies is that they're stupid.
The first one's got like spirit, but after that, it's campy. It's
There's
like
so much
fucking
spirit in
Friday
it,
the
dude.
13th or
Rocky 2
Jason.
when he's running with all the children.
Yeah.
He's a people's hero. Yada yada yada. He's got his own fucking
It's
statue.
great.
It
Yada
seems like
yada
they're still
yada.
trying to go with some of the spirit in Rocky 2 that they had in Rocky 1, but by the time they get Mr. T, like the Rocky, like I don't know, they had like
Yeah,
that's
That's
when it
why
goes
they
into
had. That's why
cartoon
they
mode.
had to kill Mick in Rocky 3 and why they had to kill fucking Apollo Creed in Rocky 4 was because they were like, okay,
Give him
we've
something
kind
to
of
fight
done the
for,
thing
yeah.
now. We really need to start killing people in order to make it feel like we can grow.
It's
And that was why in Rocky 5 they were like, okay, we just got to take away everything and just try to pivot him into a coach.
it should just become apparent that Philadelphia is really only known for cheesesteaks, Rocky, and now It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the Patty's Pub. But that's essentially it.
Yeah, no, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
that
Well,
and
no, it's
Independence
also
Hall.
known for AIDS.
And AIDS.
Oh, and yeah,
and
a movie with AIDS, or a movie about AIDS with Denzel Washington and
so
Tom Hanks.
all they really have is like, so of course they're gonna keep trying to push Rocky.
You know, apparently, right after fucking Will Smith slapped fucking Chris Rock, fucking apparently he said this during his acceptance speech, but he sat next to fucking Denzel Washington, and Denzel Washington, right after that shit happened, he fucking leaned over him and he was like, "Hey, when you're at the top of the mountain, that's when the devil comes."
Yeah, I also saw Denzel Washington was so stoked when Will Smith won Best Actor.
Because Denzel Washington is an actual human. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, I like to think like he was getting a kick at, like, he didn't like Chris Rock. Honestly, I like to think Denzel Washington was just
You like to think that's all it
yeah.
was? I genuinely like to think that, like, I like to think of him as Rocky in that position where, like, he was genuinely just a good man. He just did the good guy thing. And he was just like, I'm happy for you that, like, because honestly, like, how cringe would it have, because let's remember Denzel Washington was sitting next to him. So how fucking cringe would that be if you fucking did that shit and you lost the Oscar? Oof.
I mean, it's.
Like, I wouldn't want to sit next to that guy. There's 3 more awards after that.
It's a lot better than disavowing. Like, disavowing is the gayest thing ever. Like, just saying, like, I don't like that my fellow actor did this, and I feel the need to let everyone know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. Like,
And
that was
bro,
just...
is almost always better than I thought we were friends, you know, in public, you know. Like I thought he just made funny jokes, and then I saw his transphobic tweets or whatever, you know. But anyway, so like we've discussed.
I'm glad you were able to get Will Smith back into the conversation an hour later.
Yeah, what the fuck? Why?
I just wanted to mention that because
shit,
Denzel Washington came in the conversation really
made
lightly.
it through, but you just saw we had one chance too. We had a solid fucking mulligan, and you even admitted to it like that wasn't a good mulligan. It's glad we weren't recording. You motherfucker.
No one's watching.
We had a false start where we literally talked about the Will Smith slapgate for like 10 minutes. And then we found out that it wasn't going live. So we had a second chance. We had one more chance. And Dwayne has to bring it up an hour later.
That's a good point. I think the more attention, honestly, I think the more attention you bring to it, the less effect it has. So I think you're doing a very good way to mitigate that issue.
I think you should shoehorn that you did it. You hack.
No, I just had my statement and I made it. So now we're topical.
What's funny?
So let's talk about Rocky 5.
You brought up Denzel Washington too. Like,
no, I didn't bring it up. You mentioned the movie Philadelphia. Somebody else mentioned the movie Philadelphia.
I said Philadelphia. Okay, sure.
So I had my in.
And Dwayne was like, "Oh, Will
Denzel.
Smith.
Let me talk about Will Smith and Chris Rock. Did you guys hear about this?
Because I wanted to make that one. I thought that was an interesting. I thought it was a good quote, man. I think there's something to that whole thing of like fucking when you reach top, that's when the devil come for you. I think that's an interesting statement.
My Rocky movie.
Is that why all the pedophiles are at the top? Is that?
Yeah, no. See, that's why I like thinking about it even more, because that was an elite person who like kept a certain amount of a soul. Like, you know, like that, who was saying that's when you gotta worry, because that's when the bad shit, like fucking, what do you mean the devil come for you? Ooh, what do you mean, Denzel? Ooh, I want to know what the devil gonna do. I want to know what it feel like. That's all I got.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're here. We are not here just to discuss Rocky 5. We are here to show Sylvester Stallone how to make Rocky 5, because he clearly couldn't hack it.
I mean, not according to Brant.
It was fine. I really liked it. Yeah, I think it was perfect. But we have to rewrite it. So like, do you want me to go first? Because I tried to like cut our Denzel discussion short.
Not for that reason, but sure, go first.
The long and skinny of it is, I think, it would be a lot more interesting if either we didn't focus on Rocky really fighting. Like you said, we touched on like, oh, he's got holes in his brain, but that's about it. And they just kind of like, oh, he's acting weird. I want that weird to like keep going though. I want like, and we see those moments of PTSD. So I just want you to think of those moments we see, and what if we just kind of like made that really more of the focus of like Rocky can't get out of the ring, and he starts feeling trapped in his own home. His own estate kind of becomes the ropes, and like as he gets out and like tries to get away, like maybe that's where we go into the Philadelphia area. He starts having these flashbacks, people coming at him, and he just kind of goes on a rampage. He starts knocking people down like Tommy in the beginning, just knocking people out, just killing them, fucking ripping their heads off. But he's,
Wait, and so this is right after he gets off the plane from fighting Drago?
No. It's gonna be a while. It's like
like how long?
Like
what is happening between?
I thought
then?
he just like got off the rink,
nothing, because nothing's interesting in Rocky,
and just started like, just like beating up the crowd.
Nothing's interesting in Rocky.
Yeah, like a Malice at the Palace, only he's in Russia and he just takes out like fucking 75 of them.
Oh, that'd be best. Yeah, if they send it back. Okay, so what it is,
and then
is
Drago
like
joins up with him, and he's like, "I've learned. I am no expatriate. I join America." And then they fight off like as many Russians as they can, and they grab jetpacks from Stalin.
There's like, Stalin's there, and they like both punch him at the same time. His head explodes.
Yeah,
and it's like the fucking
remake.
Sylvester, I imagine Sylvester just like hopping onto Drago's back, and he just like rides him like a horse, and he just like rides him straight to Putin. Well, whoever, not Putin, I guess. Whoever was,
it would have been Gorby. I think it would have been
Gorbachev. Yeah, Mr. Gorbachev.
No, I think there was a dude in between. Khrushchev.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
But either way, both of these guys would have been dead by the 80s, so fuck it.
So, the build-up to this is, like, as you said, Rocky's such a good guy, he would never hit Adrian or his kid, or even Paulie, even though he fucking deserves it. So it's him in his mansion having like all these PTSD and like wanting to fight type of thing. I'm in the ring still, Mick's right there with me. But it's like, like he snaps out of it just to the last second before he fucking socks his wife in the back of the head or some shit. That's why he gets out of the town. That's why he's wandering around. And that's why we see him just beating the living shit out of fucking homeless people or some shit. Someone's like, ow. Maybe we get Tommy over there. He's like, hey, listen, you okay, buddy? And he gives him a good slug. And Tommy's like, whoa, hey, stop. And like, punches him back, and they start getting a nice big brawl right there. But Stallone's he's all sweating out. He's tired. He just got done beating up a bunch of homeless people. So Tommy kind of takes him down. Paulie shows up just cause Deus Ex.
Okay, keep going on your plot, Brant. But you gotta I'm having a really hard time climbing the mountain of this all happened because he punched Adrian in the fucking head.
No, he didn't. He almost did. That's the thing. He doesn't.
Oh, so like, was he like? So he was like in the fucking practice ring in their house, and like Adrian was like, "Here, have some orange juice," and then he was like, "It's Drago," and then he starts going for it.
No, he's literally like just walking around his house doing whatever, and he's having like these flashbacks. Like he hears like the fucking someone ding a bell. He's like, "Whoa!" and he almost like fucking punches his kid, or like he's sitting there and like the silverware clatters, and it's just like, he's almost punching fucking Paulie. And it's stuff like that. Like
how about he's stepping out of the shower and Adrian throws him a towel, and like the towel just gives him like a flashback to being in the ring.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one actually. Is like because we see he's like in the shower having flashbacks. Yeah, he thinks about how he should have
thrown the towel for Creed.
No. Give me a second to set the scene. He's in the shower. He's like having his flashbacks, thinking about the towel. And that's because they always show the towel with like all the blood on it.
Yeah, Adrian's specifically, I think the towel they should have thrown for Creed is a big one.
Adrian's down in the laundry room, and she's like, "Oh, oops, I mixed the reds and the whites," and she pulls it out. And it's like got pink with like big splotches on it, and she walks up, "Hey, sweetie, Rocky, I messed up. Here you go." And she tosses it in. He looks back and sees it like, "Oh!" And that's like when he has his break. He's like, "I gotta get out of here." So a nude Sylvester Stallone is running through Philadelphia, beating up the homeless before Tommy stops him. Is where we're at now because of that.
Okay.
So Tommy gets him down. He gets him into these like, oh, look at that, it's Mick's gym. They get him in there. Hey guys, it's Rocky. He's in bad shape. They get him some boxing shorts. They get him, sobered up, smelling salty. He's like, oh, I'm back in the ring. It's just like the old days with Mick. Because he looks outside in the window and he sees an old guy leaving, just a really old, hunched over Jew walking down the streets of Philadelphia. He's like, it's Mick. I get a second chance. I'm not going to get hit in the head as much anymore. And that's when Tommy's like, hey, man, could you teach me to fight like that? You beat the fuck out of me. And then we get the arc with Tommy. And then we still have the fact that he's rich. Because he's not only rich, but he's obviously like mentally handicapped now. So Tommy can fuck him over even harder. Because in the original one, he just kind of like disavows him. And he gets his comeuppance pretty quick and easy. But in this one, he would actually fuck him over for all his money. He would be the one that steals all of it. With the help of Carter Denzel. What's his fucking name?
George
Washington
Duke.
George Washington Duke.
George Washington Duke. Yeah. Great name.
So like George Washington Duke would help him steal all his money after Tommy gets him to like sign like his I'm just like your son now kind of thing. And then we have like the whole redemption. In this one too, I like to see the end because I never built the middle, but I like to see the end as Rocky dying finally. Tommy kills him, but like puts up a good fight. One of the things I noticed too in the fight scene on that is like when they're like, if you get hit in the head too many times, you die, and he literally only gets hit in the head. So I don't like a lot of that like flashback sequence and like they had like literally after just one punch in that scene, and then it's like up and him just kicking Tommy's ass up and down the street and like a couple more hits, and like,
holy shit,
he's just barely up there. What?
Apparently, Stallone's the kid. His son is dead.
What?
He died in 2012.
What happened?
So we're not allowed to be mean to the movie now. Fuck.
Damn. I was looking up that George Washington Duke guy.
Well, that's good because I didn't have an idea.
Wait, what
happened?
So
that just helps a lot.
Stage Stallone. Death. Was found dead at his home. According to reports, he had not been heard for 4 days prior to his death. Prescription bottles were found at the scene. An autopsy and toxicology test determined that he died of coronary artery disease caused by atherosclerosis.
Oh, he didn't kill himself.
He just
died of a heart attack.
Damn, that's sad, man. That's interesting because I remember watching Creed, and I hadn't seen any of the Rockies recently when I watched Creed, and I was like, wow, his son's not in this at all. They must just be retconning the shit out of Rocky 5.
Damn. Yeah, that's pretty sad. That's just a shitty way. Like 36, and he has like a coronary fucking attack.
Yeah, just one more. Honestly, that's just one more reason to feel for Sylvester Stallone as a person. Damn, that's sad.
I guess.
Died going after his prescription. Probably felt it coming. I was like, oh, I need my pills, and just couldn't make it in time.
Okay, well, either way, so the movie you're giving me, Brant, is you're just giving me like...
I know, sorry to derail it, Brant.
So the movie you're giving me, Brant, is you're just giving me like a different beginning and then more of the movie I don't like?
No. I'm giving you
now it has a different
Stallone.
Context that they're not, that Rocky's rich. And he's...
it fucks up the whole bits of it. We're keeping the important things. The whole point of it is Rocky has PTSD, and he's also suffering from all these, brain injuries, and he's trying to protect his family, but in doing so, he destroys them more so in this one.
All right, then take that nugget, run around on that premise a bunch. Give me some.
No, because there needs to be fighting. Because Rocky isn't fun if it's not fighting. It's got to be fighting.
Okay, well you gave me him going on a rampage in the beginning, and then he still has the same, big fight at the end. So I'm saying, give me a lot more of this punch-drunk Rocky. Give me a lot more of understanding why he went on that rampage, and then give me a good reason for him to die. Make him a symbol. Give me a reason he died, something he died for.
I told you why he went on the rampage.
Yeah, because he just snapped or whatever. So I guess
she threw the towel.
Sure, that's his snapping, which I'm really I'm very skeptical of it because I feel like that's something that would feel like fit more in a third act than in a first act,
Nah, because they open up fucking Was it Rocky 5 with the Apollo fight, or no, Rocky 4 with the Apollo fight? Remember that,
Okay,
the
well
ding
then-
ding? That's literally the opening. Is the big fight finisher from the last one.
Sure, okay, and I get that, and then he goes on his rampage, and if you're directing that directly to that, or if you're connecting those two entirely indirectly, then like I just need something that gives me more of that, like, let me go on that painful journey with Rocky, where we're just like seeing him do all this shit, and like, how are we supposed to feel about this is my question. Like, are we supposed to like somewhat be on his side during this rampage at all? Are we supposed to just be feeling like, oh wow, what has happened to Rocky? And then like what? And then what? And then if that, and then if he falls that hard in the beginning, then how are we still following like the same character of Rocky throughout that? How are we following a similar sort of arc with him after that, even if it ends an entirely different way? You get what I mean? Like, he's still supposed to be like fighting against the odds, and he can be fighting against the full retard, even if that's just the fight, even if that's just the arc. Now I need some more of that. I want some more of that.
Now the only odds he's trying to beat are the domestic abuse rate of boxers.
Yeah, basically. So like, so basically, this movie is just about him trying to not punch Adrian.
Listen, it's Raging Bull, but Sylvester Stallone's in it, and there's not as much wife beating. Actually, the fact is he's trying not to beat his wife. That's my movie.
Which honestly, okay, I'm fine with that. Okay, so like, all right, Brant, I'm locking you into that story. That's the story we're telling now. Now, fucking like, drop your silly jokiness. Fucking give me an emotional story with that. And then if you're still having Rocky die in the middle of the street afterwards, make it mean something.
Oh yeah, he's dying.
Is it just because like he was just about to like fucking like he was on his way to beat the shit out of Adrian, and then he died in the street, and that's the fucking like, don't do that, don't you fucking dare do that. Give Rocky some fucking respect, goddamn you.
Because like, no, I love it. It's like the crowd's like, oh my god, what a hero, we love him, and they pick him up and carry him. But like the last line says like, I'm gonna fucking get the shit out of you.
All I want to do is punch my wife, man.
Yeah, he's like seeing like his last thing is like Adrian, and like in his mind he's just beating the fuck out of her.
Man, yeah, no, Brant, just go on a fucking peyote trip and just like find some fucking heart in this, because right now, like, I hate this movie.
That's fine.
So much, like, it's just such a fucking, like, it just makes me like feel so bad for the character of Rocky. What a shit way to go out. Like, because you got to remember, Brant, this character is a symbol of hope. This character is a symbol of hope and a symbol of the people, like, of the downtrodden fighting against the powerful. So if you're gonna take down that symbol, you got to take it down for a reason.
No, I'm gonna take it down. We're gonna do blackface. We're doing blackface in there and everything.
This movie. I'm gonna hate this movie.
We're doing blackface.
Okay, I'm gonna in fact, I'm gonna piss, and then I will return.
Do you want? Okay, I'm gonna talk with
I think you need
Cats
that
real
much
quick.
extra time, Brant.
No, he doesn't. Fuck it. I don't care. This is a pretty like mid movie, anyways. Listen, he's gonna think he's a Apollo Creed.
You want a sneak preview, Brant? Should we give the audience a sneak preview?
Yeah, sure.
Dwayne's just leaving at like a crucial moment, so fuck him.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm gonna piss instead.
Have you seen Sucker Punch? You ever seen that movie?
Yeah, no, I have mimetic knowledge of it though, so I know enough of it.
I've never seen it either, I guess. So it's funny that I'm making the comparison, but like I want to do it like Rocky gets brain damage, and
doing what I'm doing, you're just making it funny.
Huh?
You're gonna make it like all cool and like Sucker Punch, like he's going through different worlds because he's all fucked up in the brain.
Okay, well, so the plot of Sucker Punch, as I understand it, is like she's in a mental hospital.
Yeah, she's actually stuck in there, and like that's her escape.
She's imagining all this shit around her. So Rocky gets admitted to a mental hospital because his brain is so fucked after the fight, and he starts hallucinating basically that like he's Paulie fucked all of his finances, and now he's got to go and got to make money for his family. So he starts mentoring his next protege, and his protege is just this schizo that like he's like shares a like his like room with, and so
that's weird. I was originally gonna do something very similar.
Are you pitching your story right now?
No, we're just talking. I was really gonna do something very similar though, because I was gonna have Rocky's like concussive nature accumulated to him thinking he was Apollo Creed. And that's like why he's like, you'd be like all like in the look at himself in the mirror, be like, that's not me. And that's like he gets confused and like starts trying to beat Adrian. And then it was gonna end with him in a mental hospital. Just like
really, okay,
just constantly.
That's better than what you got, Brant.
That's funny. Yeah, I felt like we had like some similar like brain damage.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mental
but,
illness.
I mean, like, what else do you do with a boxer? Fuck you, Dwayne. You think Chris Rock and fucking Will Smith is topical?
Brain, how dare you bring that up? We just tried to get away from it from all this time. Now I have to tell you about all my theories.
You already blew the mulligan. It's fine. The dam is open. The fucking waters in the town.
All right, Cats, what's your fucking idea? What do you got, Cats? What do you got?
Okay. So after the fight, Rocky is showing signs of severe mental collapse or whatever you would call it, and he's admitted to a psych ward as his like mental state is just like plummeting, and his family just decides that they can't take him anymore because he's punching holes in the walls, you know, he's like tenderizing the chicken with his fists, you know, like he's an animal. They can't control him. He never beats Adrian. He doesn't get to that point, but he's just all over the place. So he gets admitted to a psych ward.
So which is interesting because I'm pretty skeptical about this beginning as well. But just because you didn't have him hit Adrian, like you're still ahead.
I didn't have her hit Adrian.
Yeah, you had him think about it. You had him think about it.
Right at the end. Right at the end is a joke. Fuck you. You fucking 20-minute attention span retard.
What do you mean 20-minute attention span? You literally said it was. What do you mean right at the end too? It was at the beginning.
Honestly,
he wasn't like walking up like I'm gonna punch Adrian. He having a flashback. He snaps back to reality. It's Adrian. I don't want to hit her. I love her. He wasn't like I'm just gonna punch her. You fucking moron.
No fucking moron.
So
sorry, Cats.
He's in the psych ward because his brain is goo. And he starts hallucinating that like actually he's still, you know, he's still in the real world. He's a big boxing star, and he's actually training his next protege, which is actually just the schizo that he shares his bunk bed with the psych ward. And like he's like telling him, he's like, this is what you gotta do, this is how you win, blah blah blah. And it's just this like schizophrenic that's like buying into this, and he thinks that he's actually like this big boxing protege. And basically through doing this, he like developed him and the schizo like kind of like attempt a coup on the psych ward, because Rocky comes to the conclusion that the mafia, like the boxing mafia, is keeping him away from his family, but actually they're just like viewing him from like behind bulletproof like glass, you know. And he's like wondering why they can't, they're like, we can't go and talk to him because he's too fucking crazy. And actually, like, you know, he's, you know, like, in reality, in his reality, like the mafia, the boxing mafia, is not letting him see his family. So he decides to attempt a coup on the hospital with his boxing protege. But then his boxing protege double crosses him and snitches him out to the Nurse Ratched of the place. And because of that, he gets lobotomized. And Rocky, in his final moments, as he's being lobotomized, he imagines that he's defeating the Nurse Ratched. He's defeated. He's punching her right in the fucking face, and his family is like on the sidelines cheering, and they're going, Rocky, Rocky. But actually, they're saying Rocky, Rocky, because he's getting lobotomized. He's just getting a big old like fucking like, you know, like needle like shoved up his.
It's called cores, and what they do is they take up
digging
to, like,
around.
6.
Yeah,
they're just digging around in his brain, and there's all these calcium deposits, and they're like, oh, it's really rocky in here. Rocky. Oh gosh, it's rocky. And then he's just going, yeah.
Well, for some reason, I think the hospital probably called. Yeah, it's the end. The hospital called the family, and they're like, you want to watch this shit?
Every time Dwayne has something he loves, he gives it to us, and we kill it in front of him, and he gets upset.
What? Like
every
what?
single
like,
time.
You think I'm gonna take something and make it hopeful?
Yeah,
well, you just did. You just fucking one flew over the cuckoo's nest. You just fucking grabbed One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and just fucking jammed it in there. Like,
I thought it worked pretty well, honestly. And actually, like, I was more doing a Sucker Punch and Return to Oz. It's like a mix of those two movies, kind of. You ever seen? I haven't seen Sucker Punch, but Return to Oz is awesome.
Those are both. I don't know anything about Return to Oz. Well, you've recommended me before. You said it's really good. I've heard it's very good.
That's the old one, right?
It's 80s. Yeah, it's the 80s.
You're thinking The Wiz, Brant. You're thinking The Wiz.
No, I'm right.
No, yeah, it's an 80. It's old. I mean,
it's all fucked
85,
up.
I think.
There's like that one cavern with like the weird crystal tiles, and like someone dies in there when they touch, or like it's like if you touch the sand, you die.
Yeah, and then there's those guys like on the bikes, and they're like the speeder guys or whatever.
Yeah, dude, that movie is rad as hell.
Yeah, it's directed by the guy that edited Apocalypse Now, actually.
It's a Walter Murch movie.
Yeah.
I love LSD.
That's probably why. You've told me about this before because I was geeking out about.
It's great,
Murch.
but okay. Yeah.
All right, cats. Just fucking Jesus fucking Christ. Just bring Adrian into it somehow. Just give Adrian and just make it optimistic. That's all. I don't got like your whole plot is just so like I would never want to see that in a Rocky movie. Not an inch of it. I would never want to see a fucking frame of it in a Rocky movie. So like all I can say is just fucking just make it optimistic because I bet that's more than Brant's gonna do. So like if you can just make me like slightly feel the spirit of fighting against the powerful, just the man plucked from the poor, just the true patriot literally came out in 1976. Okay. Just Jesus fucking Christ.
So Rocky, instead of getting lobotomized, actually, let's say
he gets shot in the back
he's getting
of the head.
shocked. Well, no, he's getting shocked. He's getting the electroshock therapy, but actually, the electroshock therapy charges his brain and his muscles, and he goes, and it comes off of his head, and he rips the clamps off of his arms, and he gets up, and he puts his fucking thumbs into Nurse Ratchet's eyes, and he corkscrews her head like apart, and he kills everybody in the operating room. And then he like rips through the door and he says, Adrian! And he says, Adrian! And then he rips through the door and he says, oh, I love you! And then they hug. And then he walks out of the hospital and the sun shines on his face and he's covered in blood. And he says, let's go home.
He snaps your spine.
Okay, just how about...
Yeah, and then
so just Rocky. All right, so just keep the element of Rocky breaks out during the final surgery, lobotomy, electroshock, whatever. Just keep that little nugget, and then let's just pretend Rocky has like a big fight he has to get to, and now rewrite the whole movie before that, and then just keep that the same ending.
Fuck you. You get to choose between me and Brant. That's your hell.
All right, Brant, what do you got?
So, we open. It's in Rocky's training room. We see the little shrine to Apollo Creed. He's standing there staring at the shorts that Apollo gave him. The ones
with the come on.
No, it's the American flag ones.
Yeah, I know the American flag ones that he honestly like. That's an interesting statement
for
too.
Three,
is because
right?
He wore them. He wore them for 3. Creed gave them to him in 3 and was like, hey, you should wear these for this one. They bring you good luck. But it's just a shame because they didn't know Rocky 4 was going to come out, and he should have worn them in Rocky 4 for the first time as a respect to Creed and to represent America. But that's just.
But now it's become part of his trauma. He's sitting there staring at it, and he hears Creed in his mind. It's this for you, man. You deserve it. And he puts them on. And he gets in the ring and he shadow boxes him with his buddy Creed. But he sees himself. He sees right in front of him, it's Rocky. And he puts in the punch. We get the photo finish, the painting, that scene just for a second. He's in the shower, head against it. The water's coming down. Adrian's
full
in the
ass,
laundry.
full ass. The full ass is still in it, right?
Yeah, full ass. We're seeing even a little bit. He's gonna be splayed out because he's got a black man stance now. and he's splayed
As he
out.
does,
You see a
yeah,
little bit
no,
of
he's
dick down.
popping it out. He's got that booty. He's got that ghetto booty.
Mhm. You see a little bit of dick tip down. There's some ball hanging and some nice tight ass. Adrian walks in with the red towel. Sorry, honey. Throws it in. The snap hits. He looks at himself in the mirror, but he doesn't see Rocky. He sees Apollo Creed. He's lost and confused, naked. He wanders outside. He sees a puddle on the ground next to a big puddle of grease. He doesn't like what he sees, so he takes a big puddle of the black gunk and smears it on his face and chest and runs into the streets. He's confused. Where should Apollo be? He knows where to go. The blacks only gym. He walks in fully nude, partially erect. He's a little chubbed up. It's a walk. He's got the adrenaline rushing. He's covered in motor oil and grease, and he's doing a very bad black person impression. And he's very obviously wearing some blackface, they think. So they come at him with everything they got, but it's Rocky Balboa, and he's still quick on his feet. He's not down. He's still the champ. He's putting them down left and right. These kids, these are amateurs. They're nothing to him. Ba, 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 ba. Down they go. And then there's Paulie knocking at the door. Why'd you down here with all the... Oh, my God, you put him down. It's a lynching. Jesus. He calls the cops. They drag him away. He has the hearing, but he pays it all off. It's fine. But he still got to do some community service, and that's where we meet Tommy. You hate it less so far?
I did for a
That's
little
just the
bit.
beginning.
Keep
I love
going.
it. I love it.
Thanks, Kat. So, we got this guy. He's in there training the inner city youth, but Sylvester's still the only white guy, so he's happy to have Tommy in there, and they have a little bond and connection. And of course, we're not going to include the son because he's dead. So,
wait, so he's in blackface and so that doesn't come back at all.
Well, that's why he's got to go back to the inner city, and he's like the only white guy there, or like the only not black guy. So when Tommy's like, "I want you to train me," it's kind of like he's like, "Oh, yeah, I kind of want to too, because all these guys keep looking at me weird. I didn't know. I thought I was Mr. Creed. I thought I was Apollo, But occasionally we'll still, occasionally he comes back, and after the rounds of the fights, he takes a blow to the head. He gets back to the locker room. That was a good shot, Tommy. We'll see you tomorrow. He's staring at himself at the locker room. Just a flicker of Apollo shows up as a black guy walks by in front of him. And he's back to Rocky. Anyways, the problem is after Kat said he was going to end in a mental hospital, I realized I was going to end in a mental hospital too. So
I'm glad.
Instead of that,
I'm
think
glad fate
This
pivoted
one should
you.
end like in an Air Jordan store. Or
no, what it is essentially is it's going to be Tommy's going to kind of like as Rocky kind of like gets more covered up because of his like failing health, and they want to keep the champion looking nice and stuff, or he's retired anyways, so he eventually is in the streets with Tommy after like his last day of community service, and one of the punks is like, "Hey man, you racist motherfucker," and he shoots him fucking dead right there. And as he's dying, Tommy kind of is like, "Oh my God!" He reaches up. He's like, "Oh," he says the last words Mick said to, which is, "I'm having a heart attack. Just call a fucking ambulance." He's like, "You do it. You can be the champ. You're gonna be the champ, kid. You can do it." And so he goes out, and Tommy becomes a champ, and he does it all for Adrian and the kid who we never see. The ends.
It's beautiful.
Brant,
That's exactly what you want out of a Rocky.
Brant,
having a heart attack, please.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful.
you can call me. You can say that I'm a person with a bad memory and all the insults you always say. But what did I ask you to do?
Yeah, I don't care. I thought that was fun. I thought that would have been a better one. I realized if I went to, because you gotta have like it's Rocky, it's Rocky,
Yeah.
it's Rocky.
Man, I was like,
Well, also, Brent,
I
your
thought-
last one didn't have enough racism, honestly. Like,
No.
you were low. You were low on your quota. Honestly.
Yeah,
You were low on
I
your
realized
quota.
I was like, Jesus Christ! It's like I've only got like a half slur so far. I got
So-
so that's
I pumped those numbers
so-
up.
So the
Twisted my
beginning
path.
part, the very beginning part, where you were like saying like he had like a bunch of guilt over Apollo Creed. Like,
no. He's
that
just
part
he
was
just
good. That part, that very beginning part, that very, very beginning part, I was like, that sounds like a good driving force for Rocky 5. Because he never truly got a chance to mourn Apollo Creed. And then the rest of it happened. And then it
Well,
was
so
like,
that's how
yeah,
he lords in his own way. Is he dons blackface and pretends to be Apollo Creed
Yes,
at the
no, I got
bars around. Yeah.
I picked up on those subtle references to those things, which I'm actually glad you didn't say blackface straight up. Like you just made it clear to those who were listening, like there was a rubbing
blue.
of brownish chemicals upon the face. Okay, Brian.
You also get the scene where he fucks Apollo's wife, and she's like okay with it.
In
She's like,
blackface?
damn, holy, yeah. No,
that
well, yeah,
that
he
throws
walks
in
it's
some
like,
interesting ratchets into the ring with the Creed movies.
Yeah, he walks in there with his dick just hanging out, and it's just like, oh my god, Rocky, and he's just like, it's me, Apollo. I've come to fuck you, and she looks down at his gigantic dick. She's like, okay,
All right.
yeah, sure.
Okay, cats.
Wait, what's Apollo's wife's name? You should say like, yo,
Miss Creed.
yo, Apollo's,
know.
yo, Mrs. Creed.
She's played by
Me,
Bill
Apollo.
Cosby's wife in the movie Creed. Not his real wife, but his wife in the Cosby Show.
I think that's still her in the
Felicia Rashad. That's what her name.
Yeah, I think Felicia's just
no,
his wife throughout
she
the
is
whole
not.
series.
She doesn't play Creed's wife in the. Yeah, I'm positive because I watched
Sure?
a lot of the Cosby Show when I was growing up. I would have recognized that was the mama from the Cosby Show.
It looks like she looked like the teen from fucking the Cosby Show when you see her in like 4 for like the half second. Anyway, so.
Brand, just like with the whole plot that you just gave me, like with your pitch, just pretend I didn't hear any of it, and just like pitch me. We're in the elevator. We're going from like the 3rd to the 6th floor. You got me for 30 seconds. I'm making the new Rocky movie. Just what's the quick one?
Rocky, stricken with guilt over the death of Apollo Creed, puts on blackface and goes out to the local community center and starts beating the fuck out of a bunch of black teens, which puts him in community service. That's how he meets Tommy, who he then trains to become the champion, but dies before he can realize it and see it. Anyway, this is my stop. Have a good one, Chief.
Hell yeah. Love it. Love it.
Honestly, I like it better not as a movie, but as a conversation you have with no intent to make a movie to a person you just think is gonna make a Rocky movie. That's a bet. I like it better as that. Like if that's what you're selling me, then that's something.
You said
All
it's
right.
not, yeah.
That's
what
very
you got.
good.
It may not become a film, but as an elevator pitch, it's entertaining.
Did you do anything?
What?
Did you do anything, Cats? Is there anything new to talk about?
No, I liked my idea.
Okay, do the same thing. Just give it to me in 15 seconds.
Why do you give us movies you liked, Wayne? Why give us these? You'll know who killed them.
Because I'm trying to give some reason to not just like fucking give it to the original Rocky 5.
The first time everyone lost.
Okay, Rocky. After getting punched in the head so many times, his brain turns to goo, is admitted to a psych ward, and starts hallucinating that he is training his next protege, and attempts a coup on the psych ward, only to be given a lobotomy. But then he breaks free from the lobotomy and kills everybody and walks into the sunset with Adrian and Rocky Jr.
Trash. Fucking god damn it. I'm giving it to Brant just because of the first couple of seconds where it brought up an interesting thought for the Rockiverse. Where he hadn't truly mourned Apollo Creed. That's all I got. Fucking Brant wins. Brant wins on a fucking vague technicality because I'm not willing to break precedent yet and just start giving it to fucking cartoon characters that don't exist.
You know what? If you're really so worried, why don't you write up your own script, bud, and you can present it to us and show how it's done.
Man, like I wrote down like a thought I wanted to talk about, which was just like the idea of like Rocky being more punch drunk than he was. But like fucking the way that you guys just absolutely destroyed that thought for me, just like I don't care anymore. Rocky 5 is Rocky 5. It's
like fucking drowning a bag of cats is something we had to do in front of you, I guess.
No, I accept it. That was I feel like I should have picked Rocky 4. Rocky 4 would have had better remakes.
You should have. That would have been sick.
What it sounds like, yeah. I mean, it sounds like a more entertaining movie. Like there wasn't much to work with in this one.
He's
Yeah.
just working out in a shed for like
I
20
genuinely
minutes.
think
It's amazing.
I think the actual reason I wanted to redo Rocky 5 was specifically just because I thought it was very interesting for the idea of him like having like been at the top, and there's so much you can do with that afterwards. But really, we
Yeah,
should have
5
done
was
Rocky
just
4,
perfect.
and then we could have done all the fucking like Putin related fucking Drago jokes. Can't
Too
do it now
bad.
though. Too late. Oh well.
Too bad. 5 was perfect. I'm telling you, there's nothing else we could have done with it.
5 just didn't need to exist. Really.
Nah,
No,
it didn't. It really didn't.
America needed 5.
Man, that is
Not a necessary
fucking
film.
sad about Stallone's kid.
Right?
It's just
It's such a fucking bummer.
the pipe was fucking slashed. The
Yeah.
moment we're like, oh, we can't make a new Rocky because the kid's dead. Fuck.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
no,
sad.
and just in the most shitty way. Like, if it was an OD, you're like he flew too close to the sun or whatever. But no, like, it's who knows? Like, who knows what he would have done if he hadn't just had like a heart
shitty
attack. Like,
heart.
that's pretty fucked.
Yeah, no, honestly, like at the very least, like that's a nice thing for like at least being in like Stallone's shoes is like your
He's
kid
not a
didn't
dead
die
kid.
because of the celebrity lifestyle. You know, he just died because he fucking died.
Yeah, he would have died anyway, regardless of. Yeah, whatever.
Probably would have died quicker if Stallone.
Yeah,
was still
honestly,
poor,
Stallone
though.
probably
Yeah.
bought him a bunch of years just because he was so rich.
Maybe.
Wow.
You guys
I'm-
want to know
I'm thoroughly
what my
bummed
movie
the
is?
fuck out.
Yeah, no, on that joyful tone. what
Now that we've got the audience hyped for the next episode, we might as well
non-existent
tease it.
audience.
Les Mis.
Yeah. So I was finally able to find it, which I'm surprised I didn't just check archive.org first, but that's where we'll be watching the 2021 seminal film Buckbreaking, in all its 240p glory. And I hope you guys enjoy it, because I did not realize how funny of a documentary it is, but I
It's called Buck.
Genuinely.
Oh, the Tariq Nasheed.
yeah.
The Tariq
Buckbreaking.
Nasheed. We're watching Tariq Nasheed's fucking documentary. No way.
Wait, what is it? What is
I
it?
thought for the longest time that you had to like buy the movie from him for like $30. It's ridiculous, because I couldn't find it anywhere. But then there's like a bunch of copies of it on archive.org, and it's just a documentary about the historical practice of buckbreaking, which is the raping.
Fucking your slaves.
Yeah.
Wow.
Basically, it's black. It's black guy story. It's black person story hour. That's what the movie is, and like I don't know. It's really
Man,
funny.
these sound like some waters to wade into right here. Should we bring in Seth for a guest?
Oh man. Well, honestly, it'd be funny to have Seth, because in the movie, like, I don't want to spoil too much, but in the movie they basically make the claim that we're like that white people are like subhuman, like mongrels that just can't contain our horniness.
Oh,
Like,
damn. This sounds
black
great.
ass,
This sounds
huh?
awesome. I'm excited.
It's
for
great.
this. This
It's
sounds interesting.
absolutely great. I love it.
Who's Tariq Nasheed? How do I know that name?
He's
he owns the Sheed Speed and Seed, formerly Bucks.
He owns Sneed's. Wait, Sneed's Feed and Seed is more than just like a thing a guy saw on a highway and uploaded to fucking
No,
4chan?
not Sneed. No, it's Nasheed's Feed and Seed.
Oh, well, is that related to Mr. Sneed?
Oh, it's
It rhymes.
He's Tariq Nasheed's like a black activist kind of guy who he's
Is
a
he
silly
like a
goose
Black
of a guy.
Lives Matter guy or something? Like, is that how?
No,
No.
he's been about black shit for like way before BLM. He's always been on that boat.
But he's like more like the black nationalist kind of sector of things.
Yeah,
Like,
and he's just ridiculous. All of his views are just like so far on like one side or the other that it's just ridiculous usually. Yeah, like buck breaking, like,
yeah.
oh, did you know that slave owners would fuck their male slaves to make them docile? It's like, what?
That sounds very
Well,
interesting, and I'd like to see like the corroboration based on that. Like, how many, like,
there's
because
not.
how many dudes are fucking dudes in that era? You know, like how many just in general? Like, even if you're trying to do
so
alpha
good.
shit, how
Okay,
many
we
dudes be
shouldn't talk
fucking
about
dudes?
buck breaking too much. I want to talk about the fact that not Sophia Coppola. Who the fuck is her name? Jane Campion won Best Director for the dude fucking. I guess he doesn't fuck any dudes, but like the gay. It's just a gay
Christ,
cowboy movie basically, and that movie was garbage. Honestly,
I
was not
tried to watch it and I literally gave up on it within like fucking 4 minutes because I heard Benedict Cumberbatch's accent and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this movie was not made in America. Get at like that is not an American West. Fuck off. Fuck off.
No,
just at that point, just do it in Japanese or something and just fucking subtitle it. Like, fuck it. Jesus Christ.
And I hadn't even heard of Coda. Like, I had to look up. I only found out about Coda because it won Best Picture.
I mean, the premise sure sounded like, man, it's so weird. Like, the movies that win Best Picture now are movies that are like fucking classic definition indie art house movies, but the actual interesting indie movies never get nominated at all because they're usually like horror movies and genre movies and shit, you know?
Yeah, and the Academy doesn't like genre movies, and
unless Harvey, and it wasn't even because of Quentin Tarantino, unless Harvey Weinstein was producing them.
Was it archive.org?
Yeah. So if you, like, I think there's a few different like you could probably even find a different upload. The upload that I found is uploaded by a user that is called Tariq Nasheed, and the description, if I recall, said "Hail Kiwi Farms" and "Hail the White Race" or something like that. Like in the fucking description.
Yeah, send the link to that one. That's the one we're looking for right there.
Yeah,
that's
so just so you know, it has that description on it.
Okay, well, I think
but
I found it.
It has the whole movie. I was surprised, honestly, because I hadn't been able to find it. But it's like $30 to just buy it digitally off of Tariq Nasheed.
$30 to break.
Gnarly. Nary met a buck I can't chuck with this here long and mighty dingus. I tell you, back in '04, I met a real man one. He had a big air steel.
I saw that one too.
Lips muscles.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that version of it works also because I saw that one too.
Jesus Christ!
Here, I can send you guys the link.
Yeah, no, send the link. Send it to, if you could, like, just instead of saying it to Heck, just send it to each of us individually, then it won't get buried in Heck.
Actually.
No,
it won't get buried in Heck.
Sorry.
Send it to Heck.
Save it. Bookmark it.
How do you do that? All right, just write. How about just send it and then just send the word Buckbreaker and then I can just like search in the group.
Buckbreaking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna send the word Buckbreaker because that's not what it's fucking called.
Oh, okay, well, we'll send Buckbreaking.
Jesus.
But you could also
2021, huh? This is a brand new movie.
Open up the link and just.
I mean, it also says Buckbreaking in the link.
All right. Anything else we should talk about before we sign off from this thing? No one will ever listen. Like this thing that'll only ever be fodder or useful to anybody.
If it's not talking
it's
about
probably
the
the only reason anybody will probably
ever
listen.
This is only going to be watched by federal agents after one of us, does something.
Exactly. If any of us ever gets like 300 retweets in our life, that'll be the only reason anybody, like fucking a couple of Media Matters people, will be coming through this just to find the N-words.
Oh, it takes more than a couple hundred retweets. This real life, that's why I laughed at fucking Batman when it was like, he's got 500 viewers. It was like, oh, actual like internet racists have like a couple thousands.
Right? Yeah, no. Well, also,
I think they were intentionally saying like they knew.
Like, he wasn't on Twitter. He was on some kind
that
of
was
like
actually like I think that was actually a not cringe internet thing for once because they were saying 500 followers is like a small number. Like they were saying like he just like a couple of people that know about him. I think they were actually like saying that in a non-cringe.
He said it was silly. That was like he's got over a 500 followers. It's like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. They honestly could have, like, for all the things they could have done with that like internet thing that they did, like at the very end of that, it wasn't that bad, but like I don't know, it did kind of feel shoehorned in a little bit. But...
like my old alt where I like got a little too racist, I got banned, had like over 500 followers. It's like it's not that big of a deal.
That's on Twitter though. This was on a different website though.
Sure,
also,
it was like on like a 4chan light encrypted super website password only, and it's like, sure, okay.
I think he
This
had
isn't
like
the,
a.
so
It
how isn't
showed
this
that
like?
he had like a locked account even. I think too. I
Yeah,
could
to
be
me it
wrong.
looked like a lot of government plant shit. I was like, how do these guys get all this? It looks like I bet
Yeah.
I bet one of their guys was glowing a little bit in the dark there. The
That would
guy
have
who
been
set it all
better
up and
if
brought
they
them
had gone
together.
into that, but more like that would have made the movie so much better. Like federal informants, like going into like Twitter and like weirdo circles on the online and just like acting like retards. Like they needed to delve into that more. Batman should have been posing on Twitter as a racist fraud.
It should have been, yeah, Batman's like at the mayor's thing. He's like on high alert and nothing happens.
Yeah, no, just like honestly, just the shots of Batman with like
stand
the
back,
fucking
stand by.
just the shots of Robert Pattinson with like the fucking black eye makeup around his eyes, just staring at the computer screen. Like that's begging for like just some forums to be like
Listen to
with
Nirvana. Yeah, blasting Nirvana.
Yeah, it's very edgy. It was. I didn't hate that movie though. It was pretty good.
Pretty good movie. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, what else? What else came? Honestly, the best movie that came out last year was Pig, that I saw.
I need to watch Pigs too.
Yeah, no, I still haven't seen Pig.
Highly recommend.
There's something, honestly, man. There's something to. There really is something about seeing movies like that in the theater. Like when I just see something like that on Hulu, it's so much less exciting than seeing it in the theater.
Count your. I saw Pig in theater, but I think I would have rather seen it at home because I saw it at the Roxy Theater, here, and like I thought it was just going to be the regular theater. No, it's in the Annex Theater, which is just this tiny little room with like a projector that's not even that much bigger than the television I have, and like shitty fucking fold out chairs.
Oh,
but it's
you get your
so it's basically just watching a movie at your house with fucking more expensive beer.
Yeah, no, I was pissed. I was like, I didn't know that this was gonna happen. I just paid like a regular price of like a movie
so
ticket.
that's why they fucking built all that extra space, was to build a theater that isn't. Yeah, I bet they still made you sit through fucking like watching a fucking 32-inch plasma screen TV. Still made you sit through like. Just remember that the land you're sitting in this fucking overpriced fucking $20 ticket was stolen by a bunch of people who actually had fucking hearts.
Just so you know, the land that you're watching this shitty fucking small projector and shitty, sitting in cramped chairs was stolen. Just so you know. Yeah, it's like, oh, thanks, guys.
I watched Murder Party. I watched Ghosts on HBO. Yeah, it's a shitty Amazon movie. It's meh. It's very
I've been watching the.
It's all right. I like Murder Party.
Oh, do you like Murder Party? It was
all
okay.
Right.
It was too much talking.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting because like the director that did Murder Party went on to do some, like, he did Green Room. What else? Blue Ruin.
It's got good movies.
Didn't he do something else like depth. Just every recently that really was like depth. The thing all the cool kids were talking about? Didn't he just do something like that?
No, well he did some like True Detective episodes, I guess. But
that was pretty good.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Murder Party was okay. It was just like it got to the point where there was two characters who really just brought everything down. It was the coked out bitch with white hair and not the guy who goes crazy at the end and kills everyone, but the other one who's just like, we're gonna kill you, that guy. And it was just like those two like really just made it like fucking painful.
Yeah, then, I remember it kind of falling apart towards the end.
Yeah, because then he's just running through like a party, and that one guy's like chasing him and kills like a room full of people, and then he just like kills him, and it's like, oh, then you can
see why the movie should have been like more of like a 30. It was obviously like probably a short that was like expanded on, because it gets to it's always that kind of thing where it starts really well, then it's just like things kind of just do shit and like it doesn't really make sense. And then it has a really good ending, because the ending is actually really funny, if I remember too.
Yeah, because he comes home and it's just like he's making food for his cat. He sits down. It's just like, oh, what a night.
Well, and it turns into like that modern art, like like exhibit